And we're live with Geek to Geek number 13, lucky number 13. And today I have Kay Bess here, the lovely, lovely Kay Bess. And if you don't know her, you should. She is an amazing voice actress. She has portrayed Persephone Brimstone in Agents of Mayhem, Anna from Rise of the Tomb Raider. She was Queen Cumulus in Skylanders SuperChargers, and she's done a bunch of other voice actor stuff. That was very professional of me. And she also has her own podcast called the B-Hive. And I think I basically just gave them all of your information. But if you want to add anything about yourself, Kay, feel free to do so.
Well, that's pretty good. I mean, I have been doing voiceover for about 30 years and started doing games maybe 3 years ago or so and really love it. So you mentioned all the stuff that has the most fun characters. I also did a bunch of work on Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, but like a lot of incidental work, so I couldn't point to a particular character, but I'm definitely in there. I'm in your head in that one for sure. For sure. So
yeah, definitely.
It's nice to be here.
Well, thank you for coming. Like, I think you're the most you're the biggest person I've had so far. So
I gotta hook you up. I gotta hook you up with people who are
totally. I would love that. Trust me, girl. I would love that. So,
fantastic.
I actually found you through Sean from Horribly Awkward.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm just gonna follow her. She seems cool. And when you follow me back, I was like, oh my gosh, she followed me. And then I found out you were Anna from Rise of the Tomb Raider because I am a huge Tomb Raider fan. Like the original Tomb Raider was my first game I ever played. Yeah. So I freaked out because I loved Rise of the Tomb Raider. It was my favorite game of 2015. That was when it came out on Xbox, right?
Yeah. Yep, 2015.
So I was like, oh my gosh, I love her.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Totally unprofessional, but
no, you're so sweet. No, I loved that character. She was great. She was actually, I want to say the first game that I booked.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty great character. So yeah,
I love her story arc too. So
yes,
that's an amazing character to have to be like your first like video game character.
Oh, for sure. I felt really, really lucky. I kind of think I didn't really even grasp it. I didn't really comprehend as like, oh, this is like a big deal. This character and this franchise, this game franchise. So pretty cool. Pretty happy with it. So yeah.
Had you played any of the Tomb Raider games beforehand, or was this like a completely new thing for you?
Completely new. I come to games truly as an actor and not as a gamer. Although I'm super excited because I just got the codes for Agents of Mayhem. So so my daughter and I are going to play it.
I want to play that so bad. I haven't been able to yet, but I heard your character's voice and it's incredible.
Thank you. Thank you. Well,
guys, if you haven't heard Persephone's voice, it sounds nothing like Kay sounds right now. Like her character's voice is amazing. So play Agents of Mayhem. She is Persephone, and she has an amazing voice.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's going to be interesting because I've never played a video game before, aside from like Mario Kart.
You've never played any games?
No. Isn't that sad? It's a whole new world to me. So
you're never too young, never too old. Well, I guess you could be too young, but I mean, there's no age gap for like getting into games. Like I started playing when I was 5, which I probably shouldn't have been playing the games I was playing when I was 5. But I've been a lifelong gamer. And Anthony Sarami is saying Rise of the Tomb Raider is the best, and he is saying you are very talented.
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony. That is so kind of you.
And then one of my loyal viewers, Robert, is saying hello to both of us. So hi, Robert.
Hi, Robert.
And I was going to ask you about doing Agents of Mayhem because Persephone's voice is so different from your own. Was that a major challenge, or was it easier for you to grasp that accent? Or
well, it's so funny because when I got that audition, it was just one line. The audition. Mm-hmm. So, and they said they wanted it to be, a little bit French, not, like she's very European. But probably grew up in Paris or, but, so I was like, oh, well, I can do a French accent for one sentence, so I sent the audition and then a little while later I got a call back and I thought, I'm going to have to work on this. So it just so happened that I had I was in an acting class, and there was a girl in the acting class who was French. She was actually Iranian, but she grew up in Paris. So it was like this perfect accent for me to try to mimic, you know? So yeah, so I just listened to her through a couple of classes, and I tried to figure out where the accent kind of sat in her mouth, and just by watching her and listening. And then a couple weeks later and I think my accent worked. I had this feeling of like I think it's really obvious that I have no idea what games are about, so I for sure thought, oh, I didn't book that. I mean, my accent was okay, but I looked totally naive. But then I booked it, and I thought, well, I didn't know how big the part was. I assumed it was going to be just one day of work, like so many game jobs are, and then when I got there, and they said, "Oh no, this is a full-on character. This is a major character in this game." I was like, "Wow!" So once I got it in my mouth, sort of in the right placement, then it was all okay. And there was a really great director, Amanda Wyatt, who was very good about catching me if I fell out of the accent, so directors are so helpful. And if you have a good director, which I've been fortunate to have, then they help you along, and make sure that you're towing the line, and staying consistent. So it was really fun. Loved playing her. Loved it. Really fun.
You did an amazing job. Just for me hearing snippets of the voice play, I need to play the game, but you did an amazing job. And guys, anyone watching, if you have questions for Kay, feel free to ask them, as long as they're respectful.
For sure.
Also want to talk about the B-Hive, which is a podcast that you started, and it centers around women in voice acting. And I just want to know what inspired you to start this, how long have you been doing this, and so on.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the animation actor Rob Paulsen? You familiar with him?
I've heard his name.
Okay. He's Pinky and Pinky in the Brain, and he has played one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the original series, but also the one that is just ending now. And he was Yakko Warner in Animaniacs. And so he's like a really prolific animation voice actor. And he suggested it. He has a podcast called Talking Tunes, which is a great podcast.
Oh, I think I've seen that on Nerdist, right?
Yes, it's Nerdist. I was just going to say it's Nerdist. Yeah. So he suggested it to me. And he was working with a guy who was helping him with social media stuff, and so I started working with him. That's James Cluster, for a little bit. And he's the one who said, you should try a podcast, but you should interview women in voiceover, because nobody specifically does that. There are a lot of podcasts and people talk to, everybody, but there wasn't one that was really specific to women. And I thought I could totally do that. I've done it for so long. I know so many women. There are women all across the country who do voiceover, and I can connect with them just like we're connecting, and get pretty good sound quality. And so I felt like there was this sort of endless supply of guests, especially if you directors and agents and marketing, all those people. Oh, there's so many women, right? Aside from the women who actually are voice actors. So I just took it and ran with it. And I just started this past April. April was the first month. And I've been really trying to go at it, once a week.
Yeah.
I took a little hiatus in August because I just ran out of time. Like, when I started, I had all these backlogged. I think I recorded 10 before I before I went to air. So I had just a kind of a constant stream for a while. And then over the summer, things just kind of slowed down. And then I was like, oh, I need to take a break and, and gather myself together. And so we just started back up in September. I think we're on our 17th episode. So.
It's more than my series right now. So Matt is saying...
It's time consuming. It's like complex. So...
And Matt is saying he listened to the podcast. Actually, I have the website for the podcast listed in the description box. But Kay also has a YouTube channel where she uploads the podcasts, which you can listen to the audio. And that's also in the description box down below, guys, if you want to check that out. So definitely check it out. She's had some amazing guests like Jennifer Hale. Recently, Melanie, is it Minicino?
Minikino. Yeah.
Minikino. I was like... Yeah. I hate when I script names. Minikino. There we go. I'll remember that.
I'll tell you. Started that interview. I introduced her as Melanie Minicino, and at first,
I know you froze.
Heard of the name. So
we lost Kay for a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, you lost me?
Yeah, you froze for a little bit, but it's okay.
Oh,
it's okay.
So sorry. Sissy Jones has also been on it. Yeah. Paula Tiso has done a lot of great games. Mel Hutchison, I just recorded. She'll air probably in the next couple of weeks.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, Clementine in the Walking Dead series. So I'm excited. That was a good podcast. So
that'll be awesome. I adore all those voice actresses. So
yeah,
I've listened to most of the podcast, and I'm looking forward to the Alyssa Hutchinson one. And then Robert Payne has a question. He says, "What advice would you give to someone who wants to do voice acting?"
Well, the first thing I would say is that it is first and foremost, it's really acting. It really is acting. So the best thing. Yeah. So the best thing you can do is get into acting classes. That's first and foremost. And, the fact that we use our voices especially in games and animation is really secondary to your ability to act, and because there are people who have, their everyday sort of voice on the street doesn't sound, spectacular in any way, but because they have an ability to act and to create characters and use their imagination, their voice becomes something, when they're acting, when they're doing their job. So I would say acting first and foremost is the best way to begin.
That's definitely something I'm trying to get into as well, because I've always wanted to be an actress, and I have auditioned for voice acting, but there are no acting classes where I live. I live in a very, very small town. And it's not creatively fulfilling here. And I'm just trying to it's kind of hard for me to travel because I have autism. I'm autistic, and it's a little bit overwhelming. Yes. And I know I'm going to have to make that leap and, travel somewhere where there's actual work. But I'm trying to just get practice in and just do it for hobbies. Because I have done a few things that weren't paid, extra work. But it's definitely something I'm working towards, which there's always that feeling I'm 25 right now. I look 16. I know. But I see so many people from my high school, and they're married. They have kids. They're established doctors or teachers. I'm just here I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I just have this YouTube channel and my website, and I'm just auditioning. I'm I don't know what to do, but I know it'll work out.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. Life is long. And, I dropped out of college. Not that I did suggest that to anyone, but I dropped out of college and I was sort of wandering for a while. And, it sometimes it takes sometimes it takes feeling a little lost to figure out which road to take. I think so.
I do too.
Yeah, so I think you just have to be patient with yourself and allow yourself to discover and explore. And I will say, if you're somewhere where there aren't acting classes, there's so much online that you can engage in. Even even there are voiceover coaches, that you can work with online. There are even, I want to say there are even kind of acting workshop kinds of things that you can do. There's a great series called Masterclass that, where you're actually taught by people like, Dustin Hoffman and Kevin Spacey.
Wow.
And, and they give you exercises to do. And, it's so where there's a will, there's a way. I think there are lots of opportunities out there. And if you live somewhere where, you're not in a major metropolitan city where there's acting training, you just have to get a little more inventive and a little more creative. But, Google is our friend.
Yeah.
There's just like
Google is
so
everything
much,
for
right?
me.
Yeah, exactly. So, you can pretty much find anything out there. So, yeah, be discouraged by location.
Yeah. Like where I grew up, if anyone's interested in doing anything creative, you have to move away from here. There's just nothing here. And it's kind of like I held a grudge for a long time about living here for some reason, I guess, because I felt like I was being just constrained. And then I didn't know what was going on in my head. I didn't know I had autism until this year, and I'm not ashamed of that.
Okay. Nor should you be. Yeah.
I mean, I've had signs since I was a kid, but no one ever was like, she might have autism. And I just found out this year at 25. And it's made things difficult. But I kind of think of it as a gift because that's how I started my YouTube channels, because I dropped out of college and I was just like, I'm just going to make a YouTube channel and I'll do videos, talk about entertainment, which is my #1 passion, and maybe meet some people. And I've met some of the best friends of my life. I've gotten to travel to Los Angeles and Texas and
great.
Indiana. And I don't have a huge channel. I don't have a huge audience, but they're a very loyal audience. And I adore every single one of my viewers. And even the people that hate on me, I appreciate that too, because that's feedback, it's criticism, it's a view. Yeah. So, I mean, even though I have autism, I have depression and stuff, it's, I don't think I would have this channel. I wouldn't be talking to you today, I don't think, if I didn't have all this. So it's a blessing and a curse.
Sure. Yeah. That's a really big theme in the podcast that I do, is that it's, we all have struggles that we run up against, and it's really, you make good from it, and it just depends upon your perspective. And I think that the difficulties we face are the catalyst, to become the best thing, in our lives. Right. Yeah. And so I totally get that. I applaud you, and I think that, discovering who you are, right. And discovering what you love and then going and pursuing it. I mean, you're doing exactly what I did, right? That you're like, who am I? What can I do? What do I have to bring? Where's my passion? Right.
Yeah.
And then you create something out of it. And that's what I did with my podcast. It was like, I never listened to a podcast before. I didn't know what other voiceover podcasts were out there. I still don't, I just was like, I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to do what I know. And so, I just think it's great. And I'll tell you, my daughter, she's 14, and her dream is to have a YouTube channel. That's totally her dream, right? It's and to have followers, and she's a huge Minecraft player, and and she loves it. So I say kudos to you. I think it's fantastic. And every channel, every podcast, they all start out small.
Oh yeah,
they do. And so it's a part of the learning curve that you figure out how to gain your audience and how to spread the word, and it's all part of the challenge, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's great.
If your daughter ever does start a YouTube channel, let me know, and I'll subscribe to her.
Sweet.
If she wants any advice, I'll give it to her.
Fantastic. That's so sweet. I certainly am like, I don't know how to start a YouTube channel. I mean,
I might not be the best person to give advice, but I know a little bit about YouTube. I've been on here for 5 years, so I mean, I'll totally, if she wants advice or just a subscriber, I'm there.
Fantastic. That is so great. Thank you, Alyssa. That's so sweet of you.
And what does she think about you being a voice actress? Like, does she think that's cool, or is she just kind of like, that's just mom's job?
You know, I think there's probably a little bit of both. You know, it's definitely that's mom's job, you know, and sometimes she, you know, knocks on my studio door when I'm in the middle of a take and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, you know, come in or go out, but stop knocking, you know, kind of like, and so she's, you know, she's sort of getting used to that piece of it. But the times when she's really excited is if I have, like a couple months ago, I had an audition for Minecraft story mode. And oh my gosh, she was so excited. You know, she just kind of keeps asking me, did you hear about that? Did you get any of those parts? You know, and I'm like, nope. I don't, you know, think I did. But she, you know, she loves it. She asked me if she could be a guest on the podcast.
Aww.
And so we recorded, we did the questionnaire, you know, at the end that I do. And so we record. So I have that. So sometime I'm going to air it. Sometime I'm going to, you know, just put it up. And
that's so sweet.
I think that'll be super exciting for her. But yeah, she thinks it's pretty cool.
Matt Thomas says we'd all help your daughter with her YouTube channel, all my followers. So that's super sweet.
Thank you, that is so sweet. Thank you.
And Screen Star says hi.
Hi, Screen Star.
Let's see. Also, I had a question about the B-Hive that I forgot to ask. How'd you come up with the name? I wanted to know about the name of the podcast.
Isn't it just so silly? Well, the name came from Rob Paulson. He's the one who suggested it to me because I think I was going to do, what was I going to do? Oh, I can't. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. I had a whole different name that I had chosen. Wow, it's really good that I didn't use that because that would be bad for me to not remember it. But then Rob is one of my best friends, and so he had just texted me one day, and he was like, "How about the B-Hive?" And then he started. You know, he's a funny guy, right? So he started talking about buzzing around, and he calls me the queen bee, and you know, so that, and I thought it was kind of cute, you know, I thought it was, and it felt like, you know, when women get together, there is sort of this buzz, you know, it's just sort of like, you know, and it just felt like a little location, right? Like a little, and so I liked it. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to overthink this. I'm just going to call it that, you know, and the B, you know, certainly can stand for my last name, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's really how it came about. I tend not to belabor things too much. You know, it's like when I got married, I saw one dress. I'm like, I'm gonna have that dress, you know. And when I went to try dresses on, I said, I just want that dress. And the woman was like, let me bring you more. I'm like, I don't want to see more. I don't want to be confused. I don't want to have to all these choices. So I just tried that one on and that was it. And so I'm the same with everything. It's like, don't make it too complicated.
Me too.
Right?
I'm just like, if I see something, I'm like, yep, that's it. I don't want anything else. That's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Like, because I can be so indecisive that then I end up never choosing, you know, and that's crazy making. So yeah. I'm just stubborn, like to the point where I infuriate people. Like, I'm just like, I'm doing this. I want this. If people make suggestions, they'll be like, maybe do this or this. I'm like, nope.
Not gonna do it.
No. And like, if people tell me to do something and I don't want to do it, I'm like, you told me to do it. I'm not doing it. Like, if I want to do it and someone tells me to do it, I'll probably end up doing it anyway. But I won't tell them that it's not because of them. But if I don't want to do something and someone tells me to do it, I'm not doing it. Just not doing it. Which makes a lot of people angry, so but I mean, it's just me. It's just my personality. So yeah. Just
again, got to be who you are, you know.
I'm all about that. I'm all about being who you are. So
yes.
And also, I know your daughter's name, but I don't know if you want me to say it, but there's actually a video game with her name in the title. I don't know if you know that.
There is?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Do you want me to say it or?
Sure. No, that's fine.
Okay, there's a game called Dear Esther, and I haven't played it yet, but I want to because I've heard amazing things.
Wow. I'm going to search it. That's great.
It's narratively, I believe it's a narratively driven game, one where you walk around and you're discovering things in the environment, and it's all about the story. You don't really, there's no combat or anything. It's just,
fantastic.
Kind of like, well, I was going to compare it to other games, but you said you're not a gamer, so.
No, well, I know of a few. I mean, I'm not completely in the dark, but I'm not super savvy, but
I think it's kind of like in the vein of like Firewatch and stuff. The story is the main thing. It's not the actions per se. It's the story. So I think that's what Dear Esther is about. But since I haven't played it, I can't say for sure.
Okay, well,
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I will totally look that up. And oh my gosh, if it's something my daughter could play, she would be so thrilled. It's not a very common name, so she would totally dig that.
I'm not sure why it's rated, but if it's rated teen, you can totally play it.
Yeah, I will for sure check it out. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
I thought I'd just tell you that because I saw your daughter's name. I was like, oh my gosh, there's a video game with her name in it. Because there's no video games with Alyssa in the title, so.
Yeah, nor Kay.
No. Someone make a video. Well, there is actually a video game that is called The Legend of Kay. It's an older game.
Really?
But you can get it on I know PS4. I'm not sure about Xbox One, probably, but it's called The Legend of Kay. So your name, you do have a video game with your name in it.
And is it spelled like my name?
Yeah, K-A-Y.
Mm-hmm. Wow. This is so awesome.
So you and your daughter both have video games with your names in it.
Right. That is so great.
But no one's made a game with the name Alyssa in it yet, so.
Well, soon.
I don't think there's a game with a character named Alyssa in it. If any video game developers want to make a character named Alyssa and have me voice the character,
awesome.
Or just make the character named Alyssa. You don't have to hire me to be the voice. But just saying, because Alyssa doesn't pop up in pop culture a lot. The name, so.
I have a few friends named Alyssa.
Oh, that's cool.
I do. Yeah.
I think I know one other Alyssa, and that's it. So,
I was going to tell you that I was reading a few comments. You were talking about the fact that you have a channel and that you get compliments, but you also get people who are it's very easy for people to not be nice, right?
Oh yeah.
On the internet, and I was reading a comment about a video of Persephone, that was, there was a comment made like, I wish the acting was better for this character, and a comment about how I was clearly an American because I didn't know how to pronounce the character's name, and it was so funny. I was like, it's so crazy how personally you can take it, and I don't know these people. I've never met them. I don't, but you kind of go, oh, did somebody didn't like it? And you kind of or did I pronounce her name wrong? Like what, it was just so funny, but man, you really have to kind of readjust your head about it, right? About getting criticism. And then just realizing, as you said, everybody has an opinion, right? And not everybody is going to love what you do, or, and oftentimes people just want to complain.
Oh yeah.
That's their primary motive, so, but I haven't really experienced that before because I haven't done work where people comment on it, so it's like a whole new experience, right? So, so
definitely have to have a thick skin.
Yes.
Especially being on camera, because that's YouTube videos, they'll comment on your appearance. It has nothing to do with the video itself. They'll just be like, your hair looks terrible. I'm like, I have curly hair. It has a mind of its own. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just so funny, like, who cares what my hair looks like? Like, it's just so funny. People feel so free to make comments about stuff. But anyway, it was just an interesting experience when you mentioned it. I thought, oh, that's good. I have to take her advice. Like, you just let it roll, let it roll off your back.
And like I get people on my personal Facebook that I mention all the time, hey, I'm going to be talking about personal stuff, and they'll get like so mad that I talk about mental health or something. And I'm just thinking, you get mad about that, but you don't get mad about like this, like people being sick or something, like going in detail. I mean, about like injuries or sickness. I'm like, but someone saying they're depressed bothers you that much. I've never understood that. That's just another tangent I'm going on.
No, it's true though. I mean, I think people really, really so often they just don't understand issues of mental health, and and if you don't, you can't, you kind of, it's very easy to criticize that which you don't understand. That's where that all comes from. But it's, I think it's great. I think we should be talking about. I mean, we talk about all kinds of other things that we're sort of predisposed to, but why can't we talk about depression? Why can't we? I mean, it's real. It's real, and people suffer from it, so yeah, and I think so many people they just suffer in silence because they think they're alone.
Yeah.
And so I think to talk about it and to just put it out, if only to say you're not alone out there. There are people who understand what you're going through, and people who sympathize, and there are ways to get help. And I think it's super important. And so those kind of criticisms, it's just a reflection of their ignorance of what it is. So yeah. So I think it's great. I think it's brave. I think you're right on for talking about that stuff. It's really, really good.
Thank you. Yeah. And I've noticed a lot of people in the creative fields, they have some sort of mental illness, whether that's anxiety or depression or whatever.
Yeah. I think when you're a creative person, you have a different sensitivity to the world. I think you feel things more acutely. You experience things just more intensely. Even with, I mean, like, in my own case, I have really sensitive hearing, and I am really sensitive to light.
Oh yeah.
And, I'm very moved by people's experiences. And I think that's a part of being an artist and a creative person, because that's our job as creative people, to reflect back what the human experience is like, for people who don't have a way to express it or don't know how to express it. So, I mean, that's why we all go to the movies and watch a story and can relate to it. And we listen to music and it makes us cry,
Oh yeah.
And it's those musicians who have that ability to play something with so much feeling, that's the gift they give us, to be able to feel, to be able to experience that. So I do think that if people, not just actors and musicians, but there's so many ways to be creative, that's, it's a double-edged sword, it's a great gift, and it can be a burden to feel things so deeply, to experience things so deeply. And, but I think it's super important to emphasize the gift aspect of it for those days when it gets you down,
Yeah, for me personally, when I'm having a really bad day, which the past couple of weeks have been bad, I can't see that, and I kind of lose motivation. Then one day I'll just be like, wait, this is a gift. I need to use it and utilize it, and I have a creative outlet for it. So sometimes I forget that I have that gift. I just think of it as a curse sometimes, but
yes. Yeah, I think every creative person does. I really do, and I think I have very little true understanding of the spectrum of autism, but I do know that, I mean, what little I do know, there's so much of it that's tied to really, you know, really extraordinary sensibilities, in feeling and perceiving and experiencing things. And so, the intensity of that, I can only imagine would be really overwhelming. So to be able to somehow give yourself reminders, right?
Yeah.
For the times when it's become so overwhelming that you feel like, this is only a curse. There's nothing good about it. It's like that is the hardest part of any kind of experience like that, even in depression, like to remember when you're in it, when you're in the thick of it, that there's another side, there's another side and it will come, Yeah.
And usually, like, what pulls me out, someone will be like, "Hey, why haven't you posted a video in a while?" Or, "Are you okay? I noticed you haven't posted anything." I'll be like, "Well, there's someone out there cares." Like,
yes,
like in really bad moods, I'm like, "No one cares," or whatever. Like, I know people care, but like my brain is telling me no one cares. You're a burden.
Sure.
And then someone will be like, "Hey, I noticed you haven't posted in a while," and then that kind of reminds me people do care, and that my brain is just telling me they don't.
Right. And that's why it's important to, to speak out, right? To notice and to express your concern and your care and all of that. It really is helpful. So, yeah. Where are you? I don't know where you, I don't know if you say that or but I'm just curious, like, is there a time difference?
It's 1:41 p.m. here. I'm from Alabama.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, fantastic. Okay.
I'm trying to get rid of my Southern accent, actually, but I don't know how to get rid of it.
Wow. It's charming, I think.
When I hear myself, I don't hear it because a lot of people here have their accents are way, way, way more pronounced. But when I do a video or something, people always say, "Oh, I love your accent." I'm like, no. I'm trying to get rid of it, which is definitely, since I've been on YouTube and I've been interacting with people that don't have accents, it's definitely not as strong as it used to be, but it's still there. And I'm like, no, I just want it gone.
That's hard. It's hard. It's like, essentially you're learning a new accent, by losing the natural way that you speak. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
But just a gift I wish I had was like to be able to pick up accents easily, because it's very hard for me to do other accents. Like I try and it's just, I gotta practice more. But
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, accent work is tough. I love it. It's hard, but I love it. Concentrating, very focusing. Yeah.
I just love listening to other accents. Like I love Scottish accents, British accents, and Irish accents, and Australian accents, and so many accents I think are so beautiful.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I don't like Southern accents. I guess because I live here and I hear it all the time.
Well, there are so many different ones.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a real difference between, various places from Florida and Tennessee and, Alabama and Texas. I mean, they're all different. So,
oh yeah,
a lot of nuance. And, New Orleans, a little Cajun. I mean, that's some serious stuff. That's like super hard to me. Like, wow, I've never been able to get inside of that, but
it's actually really hard for me to do the stereotypical Southern accent. It used to be easier, and now it's gotten harder. I guess because I'm kind of losing my own. But I don't know why. It's hard for me to do an actual stereotypical Southern accent.
I think when you start thinking about it, it's like you think too much about it, and then it's like, wait, how do you say that word? So yeah, it's hard. It's tough work in voiceover land. That's for sure one of the hardest things. So
I also wanted to mention, because I'm a big David Lynch fan, and I noticed that you tweeted that you did a voiceover for a Clear Blue Easy commercial, but you didn't realize that he was the director. Like, what was
Funny.
Like, what was your reaction when you realized that he was the director of that?
Well, everything kind of made sense. I mean, because that I did that so long ago. I did that in 1997. And uh I gosh, that's 20 years ago. My goodness. And when I did it, it was like they wanted the read to be so low key. It was so, which was not, that's customary now. I mean, that's how people do commercials now. But then it was just a lot more, a typical commercial just had a lot more energy and a lot more music in it. And this was so flat. And I remember thinking, oh, wow, that's a really interesting kind of boring read. And I didn't, but whatever. I mean, and in those days too, you didn't get copies of the video that you were lucky if you saw it on TV, running on a network or something like that. So I don't even remember having it, like seeing it. And I'm sure I must have. I keep thinking that maybe I put it on a demo or something, but I don't have that if I did. And so, so I just looked it up, and I don't know what made me think of it. I have no idea. And so I did a YouTube search and I just said Clear Blue Easy TV commercial 1997. Right. And up came this commercial and I was like, huh, I wonder if that's it. And so I clicked on it and sure enough, I'm like, that's my voice. Like that was so weird. And then in the description of the commercial, it said this was directed by David Lynch. And I was like, what? That's so crazy. And the girl in the video is the actress who played Laura Palmer in Twin
Cheryl
Peaks.
Lee. Yeah.
Yeah, Cheryl Lee, which is just so funny to me. It was, I don't know if you saw this, but if you watched it, but it's like, actually. It was a little, it was ever so slightly creepy. I mean, and it was like, well, of course that's David Lynch's commercial. Yeah. Like it made perfect sense. So yeah, it was crazy. It was very funny, but
I think his just directorial style is just incredible in my opinion. The way he just directs films and the way he thinks. Like he didn't recently put it out, but they had a documentary come out about him called The Art Life. And he talks about what inspired him, how he grew up and all this kind of stuff. And it shows him creating art and it's very childlike, but also kind of creepy at the same time.
Yeah.
And I just think he's just a very interesting person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to think of him directing a commercial for a pregnancy test was just like, it seems outlandish, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, I could imagine David Lynch doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It was really weird. And truly that surprised me too. Like, what is David Lynch doing directing a TV spot about contraception? I mean, it's just fun. Or not, it's not contraception, but a pregnancy test. I mean, it just was, I don't know, it was just funny. But I was, it made me laugh. I just,
And I mean, it's a unique commercial. Guys, if you haven't seen it, look it up on YouTube because it is really unique.
Yeah, and my voice sounds so young. It sounds so.
I think it sounds pretty similar.
Oh, that's great. God love you. I think I just think I sound so. It sounds so breathy, and it's yeah. I mean, I have stuff that's pretty old on my demos that I feel like, well, it still sounds like me. I still sound like the same person, but that spot in particular just seems so young. So funny.
I also just wanted to ask like some random questions. Like, are you big into watching movies or?
I don't watch a lot of movies, but I'll tell you what, I'm a big Star Trek fan.
Okay.
And I didn't watch, when I was a little kid, my brother, who's 10 years older than me, he watched the original series. And so I would occasionally kind of peek in on those when I was really young, and I never really got into that particular series. But when my daughter was born, about 14 years ago, I started watching Next Generation in reruns, and kind of at the prompting of my husband. And I was like, at first I thought this is really what is it? It's so silly. And then I really started to like it. And then I really started to like it. And I will tell you, I watched that series at least one episode every day for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Like, I just loved it. And it became like my companion. I would cook and I would turn on on my iPad, I would bring it up on Netflix and I would cook with it on. And I just became like, and I would come home and I would be tired and I just want to watch Jean-Luc Picard. That's all I want. And so it was really funny, but I love that series. And then maybe 2 years ago, I thought I should give Voyager a try and see, because I never watched it. So I started watching Voyager, and then I was like, wow, I really dig this series. And so now I'm like in year 2 of watching that almost every day. And but my husband and I just finished watching Battlestar Galactica, the reboot of that with Edward James Olmos. And oh man, I love that series.
That's one show I haven't seen, and I need to see. I'm huge into science fiction, and I haven't seen it.
Love it. You'll love it. It's so great. It's so great. I mean, we're starting to watch it again, right? So we're starting our second pass. But oh man, I love that. I just got a T-shirt with a slogan from the show, and I love that. So I have a hard time now watching. Like, I tried to start Game of Thrones, but I really like science fiction. I really like space. So I gotta find something else that I try. I'm starting to try to watch Deep Space Nine, but it's a little harder for me. And everybody said that, like, you have to get through the first and second season, and then it's fantastic. So I'm trying to work my way through the first and second season. But that's pretty much what I watch. I tend to get to things, at least 5 years after they've been on, on primetime TV. But I did watch Star Trek Discovery, the first episode last Sunday night, the brand new series. So I might have to sign up for CBS All Access to watch that, because it's really interesting to me.
Like, I want to see that, but I'm like, I can't afford to sign up for this streaming service. So
I know it's not fair. I just wish they would run it. I just wish they would put it on CBS and give us access to it. So far, like, 2 great women characters right out of the gate. It's like, I want to watch it. I really do want to watch it. So I may have to just bite the bullet, and do it. But I just, maybe if enough of us complain, they'll put it on the air.
It's like, why does CBS even have a streaming service?
I know, because they want to get in on it, right? I mean,
yeah. But the thing is, there's already 3 major ones, and it's kind of like overkill.
I know, it's overkill, and you guys already have a network, so just run it on your network.
I feel like they'd get more viewers if they just ran it on CBS, the network. Totally. But that's just me. I don't know logistics and stuff. So
I would think they would. I mean, again, people are, the reason that people do streaming services like Netflix and Hulu is because they don't want to buy cable. Well, CBS is not a cable channel. It's a network. It's free. So why, it doesn't make sense. It's not like it's on, HBO, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so anyway, I don't understand it, but I don't know what they're thinking, but I don't, I'm an actor. I'm not a network executive.
I'm not either. I'm just someone who appreciates the arts. I'm not someone who does the business stuff, but
exactly.
Since you mentioned you like sci-fi, have you ever watched Firefly?
No.
It's only 13 episodes long. It's fantastic. Okay. It stars Nathan Fillion, and it's really funny, and it's got amazing characters. And there is a movie that they made after the show, because the show kind of ends on an unsatisfactory note because it's only 1 season. The movie is fantastic as well. It's called Serenity. But Firefly is my favorite TV show of all time, and it's just wonderful.
Okay, I will watch it. I think I put out a little Facebook post a few weeks ago. It was like, you know, Battlestar Galactica is over. I need another series to watch. And then I got all these suggestions, and Firefly was in there. It was one person was like, "Oh, Firefly is so great." So I'll check it out for sure.
I'm trying to remember. Firefly used to be on Netflix, but it just recently moved to I think it might be on Hulu, but it's either Hulu or Amazon Prime Video, but it moved to one of those.
Okay. I got them.
And like the episodes are so good. Like I finished the first season the first time like in 2 days. I was just hooked on the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, when the 13 episodes were over, because I was like, there's nothing left besides the movie.
I know. I really loved The Man in the High Castle, which is on Amazon Prime, but it's two seasons, and I'm waiting for the third, which I think comes out in January.
I haven't seen that yet, but I want to. But I also want to read the book first. I'm like, I'm a huge reader. I have a huge backlog. I'm like,
yeah. Well, from what I hear, that they take the premise of the book, but then they really sort of take it in another direction. So you never know, right? Like,
yeah.
Sometimes when you read the book first and then you see the series, you're like, well, that's not what the book was.
Oh, yeah. And then sometimes it's like really super close. Like one of my favorite shows, Outlander, it's currently airing. It adheres pretty closely to the book. So I know pretty much everything that's going to happen. But I still love the show to death. And people are probably tired of me talking about Outlander. I talk about it all the time. But that's one of the more faithful. It is very, very graphic, Outlander is. So might want to watch it after Esther goes to bed.
Goes to bed, yeah. Right on. She's so funny. She doesn't like she stays away from all that stuff. Like she doesn't like swearing, and she doesn't like, I love her for that. She just,
I was like that until I was 16.
She like self-monitors.
I did too until I was 16, and I was like, well, 17 is when you can watch R-rated movies, so I'll just do it at 16. But I would not watch movies that were R-rated or TV shows that were TVMA until I was 16. Like I was just very strict on myself with that. So I feel like me and Esther are very similar.
Yeah, it's good. It's a quality I really appreciate. She's very aware of what she, what she can tolerate. So it's good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
But yeah, Outlander's fantastic. It does have a little bit of science fiction in it, but it's not a science fiction show. It's more of a historical drama with romance, but a little bit of science fiction.
Okay. All right, cool. Excellent. Excellent.
I just love it.
Good.
And it's like got my number one man crush in it, which everyone hears me talk about all the time.
That's great. That's fantastic. Well, I have so totally loved being on your show. This is great.
I've loved having you.
Thank you. It's really, I'm happy that you asked me. It's just,
well, I'm happy you accepted.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll look up some other pals and try to turn them your way. So
that'd be awesome. I'd love to interview more voice actresses or voice actors or anyone in the industry. Great. So definitely,
fantastic.
I'd love to be friends with them. That's my main goal, is to be friends. So
fantastic. Anybody have like one last question or anything?
Yeah. Anyone have any questions you want to ask Kay before we go? Anyone? Nothing's popping up at the moment.
Okay, that's all right.
So check out all of Kay's links down below. Like I have her links to her Facebook or Twitter, her podcast website, the YouTube channel, everything. Fantastic. So make sure to go follow her, subscribe her, check out everything. And Kay, do you want to say anything to the viewers who are watching?
Just, I am. Thank you for your kind words and thoughts about the characters I've played. It feels like it is a real privilege for me to play those roles, and I really just hope to do good work that people who play games really like. And so, just thanks for watching.
Well, you have a diehard fan over here, so
thank you so much.
And even more of a diehard fan since I got to talk to you, because you are wonderful and lovely and just amazing.
Thank you so much, as are you. So
thank you.
Yeah.
So I guess we're gonna go, but thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next installment whenever that happens to be, because this is totally random. But I love you guys, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.
Ciao.